Hey there, and welcome to another trip report. Tonight, I'm flying with Air Canada in a preferred seat in economy class from Montreal to Frankfurt, on board one of their Boeing 777-300ERs. Air Canada serves the Montreal to Frankfurt route up to 2 times daily on a mix of Airbus A330s, Boeing 777s, and Boeing 787s. My flight tonight is a 6 p.m. departure using the airline's highest density configuration of the Boeing 777, packing in 450 seats. Inside the terminal at Montreal's Trudeau Airport, the Air Canada check-in area is near the first 2 doors of the departures hall and consists mostly of self-serve kiosks and automated bag drop stations, along with staffed check-in counters on the back wall. On an economy class ticket, I'm able to print off my boarding pass and baggage tags here at a kiosk and then drop my bags without speaking to anyone. In terms of baggage allowance, Air Canada sells 5 different types of economy class fares on their international routes to Europe, with the lowest fare named Basic not permitting any checked baggage, a single 23kg checked bag included on standard and flex fares, and 2 23kg checked bags included on Comfort and Latitude fares. After dropping my bag, it was a quick walk over to security screening for the domestic and international gates, which took about 15 minutes to clear. Next stop for me is the international section of the terminal, which is to the left out of security and consists of gates 52 through 68. To enter the international area, you have to pass through a checkpoint where you scan your international boarding pass to be granted entry.
Aircraft Flight 345 to Paris, Charles de Gaulle, all
With no queue at the checkpoint, I'm now in the international section of the terminal, which feels much more modern and fresh compared to the domestic section, with duty-free shopping, restaurants, and cafes. My flight's using gate 52 this evening, which is one of the first gates when you enter the international area. This gate is quite secluded, located off of the main corridor behind several restaurants. Getting a look at our aircraft for tonight, I'll be on board this 9-year-old Boeing 777-300ER that was delivered new to Air Canada in May 2016. Air Canada operates a fleet of 19 777-300ERs, which is the longer variant of the Boeing 777 family. My aircraft today is in a high-density 3-class configuration with 28 lie-flat pod-style seats in business class, 24 extra reclining seats in premium economy, and 398 standard economy class seats, totaling a whopping 450 seats on board. This is one of 2 seating configurations of the 777-300ER that Air Canada operates, with the other having more seats in business class and fewer seats in economy, for a total of 400 seats. Air Canada boards their aircraft by assigned zone number, with Zone 1 for business class and Aeroplan Super Elite members, Zone 2 for premium economy, all other Aeroplan Elite status members, and Star Alliance Gold members, and Zones 3 and up for economy class passengers without status. Stepping on board from the mid-cabin entry door, to the left we have business class, and to the right we have premium economy, with economy class behind it. The economy class cabin is divided into 3 main sections, with 398 seats arranged in a 3-4-3 layout. This is a fairly tight configuration for this aircraft, with standard seats having a width of 17 inches and a pitch of 31 inches. I've booked a bulkhead seat for this evening's flight, with seat 18A as my home for the next 7.5 hours. Row 18 is the only true bulkhead row on this aircraft, with only 2 other extra legroom rows, which are both emergency exit rows. The preferred seats in row 18 have ample legroom, with a curved bulkhead wall directly in front separating economy from premium economy. I find this row to be far superior to the emergency exit rows 31 and 50, which, while they also offer extra legroom, are next to the lavatories where people gather, which can be quite annoying. One thing to be mindful of, however, in row 18 is that the wall in front of the center 4 seats has mounting points for a bassinet, meaning you could get an infant as a neighbor. On flights from Eastern Canada to Europe, these preferred seats can cost upwards of $100 each, so keep that in mind as we explore them in this video. Every seat is equipped with a 9-inch touchscreen entertainment system, which will check out after takeoff. The seats themselves have a dark, fabric-covered back and base, and you'll find a leather-covered headrest at the top, which is height adjustable and has folding sides for support. They're pretty simple-looking seats and aren't the most comfortable for long flights. The legroom is impressive in this row, and at my height of 5'10", I have tons of room to stretch out. As is fairly typical with bulkhead seats, there's no underseat storage, which can be a turn-off for those who like having their things at an arm's reach. My carry-on bag and personal item both went up in the overhead bin, where there was ample space. Getting a better look around my seat, on the wall in front we have a shared monitor but no personal entertainment screens like the other rows. Our entertainment screens are hidden, which we'll find in a minute. Closer to the floor, we have a two-tiered pocket for holding the provided reading materials, as well as storing your own items. Taking a look at what we have here, there's the safety information card for this aircraft, a bistro menu for purchases on flights within North America, and an air sickness bag. The armrests between the seats in this row are fixed, as they stow everything that the seat back in front would typically handle. From between the seats near the floor, there's a latch to deploy your entertainment screen, which rotates into position. On the bottom edge of the screen, we have a port for connecting your headphones, as well as a USB-A charging port. You'll also find another headphone port on the front of the armrest between the seats. On the inside face of the armrest, I have a small control panel for adjusting basic controls of the entertainment screen, as well as for controlling the overhead reading light and calling an attendant. Inside the armrest to my right, we have the tray table for my seat, which is a bifold style that is quite stable and is mounted on rails for position adjustment. Underneath the seat row, we also have dedicated universal AC power outlets for each seat. Taking a look at the overhead panel above the seats, up here we have personal reading lights and personal adjustable air vents for each seat. Provided at the seat when we boarded, we have a pillow, a blanket, and earbuds for the entertainment system were handed out by the flight attendants after everyone was seated. We began our pushback from the gate just a few minutes early, and I was lucky enough to score 2 open seats next to me for this flight. It's unfortunate that the bulkhead row armrests don't raise, so I can't really take full advantage of it, but the extra space is nice. After sitting just off the gate for a little longer than normal, the cabin crew announced that the ground staff were dealing with a technical issue and that we would be towed back into the gate while they worked to resolve it.
We're going to taxi back here to the gate like the captain mentioned, so please once again remain seated. Your seatbelt.
As the captain later explained, a piece of the ground staff headset jack had become lodged in an audio port that they used to communicate with the cockpit, and it needed to be removed before we could depart for Frankfurt.
Broke off when they went to remove it before flight. Now, because part of that jack is still inside the aircraft and it could come out in flight if low chance, but it still could. We are unfortunately going to have to make sure that it gets removed. So maintenance is on the aircraft right now. They're going to work on it. Hopefully it won't be too long, and we'll give you...
An hour later, it's time for pushback number 2, and we're on our way. Climbing away from Montreal, our flight time to Frankfurt is about 6.5 hours, quicker than expected and making up for some of the lost time from the delay. Getting out my entertainment screen to explore the system, it's a crisp interface with good graphics that's fairly easy to navigate. Launching the system, the main page displays featured content, and from the top left corner you can view the different pages available, including entertainment content, food and beverage, trip information, news and weather, and more. In terms of entertainment content, we have movies, TV shows, live TV, music, audiobooks and podcasts from Audible, and games, with a good range of content available under each section. Each content type is sorted into different categories, from new releases to dramas to comedies. A search function for the system would definitely be useful to find specific titles, but isn't available on these screens. You can view the food and drink options available on tonight's flight, items available for purchase on board, current news stories through AFP, and the weather forecast at different Air Canada destinations. One of my favorite parts of the system is the City Guide section, with information about different cities that Air Canada serves to prepare you for your destination. Another great practical feature of these systems is the Connections section, which gives connecting flight information for different onward legs from Frankfurt. From the top right corner of the screen, you can control the overhead reading light and call an attendant. There's a favorites section for viewing titles you've saved for later, and there's a settings menu where you can control the screen brightness and system volume, as well as other functions like language, night mode, and parental control. The bottom bar on the screen shows flight progress, and you can also access the in-flight maps from here. The quality of the maps is quite good, with lots of different viewing options and 3D visuals, as well as information about the flight and a map of destinations Air Canada serves. Only 40 minutes after takeoff, dinner is served. On this overnight flight, there are 2 meal services, with a hot dinner after takeoff and a light breakfast before arrival in the morning. For dinner, the 2 main course options were either a chicken cacciatore with roasted potatoes and bell peppers, or a penne pasta with pesto sauce and roasted peppers. I opted for the chicken, and the meal tray was also served with an appetizer of lemon herb couscous salad, a bread roll, a packet of butter, slice of cheese, and a brownie for dessert. The tray was provided with a packet of wooden cutlery and a water bottle, and a full beverage service was offered as well, including complimentary alcohol. For my main course, the sauce was tasty, but there wasn't nearly enough of it to cover the chicken, so most of my chicken was dry and flavorless rubber. As for the roasted potatoes, they essentially turned to mashed potatoes the second my fork touched them. The bread roll was quite dry, but on the bright side, wasn't frozen when served. All in all, this one's not getting rave reviews. Coffee and tea were served after dinner, and it's time to settle in for the night. Pulling out my laptop, I love Air Canada's International Economy Class product for having AC power outlets accessible from every seat, which a lot of European carriers don't seem to offer. These aircraft are also equipped with Wi-Fi, which is a paid service for general access, though that's changing in 2026 when Air Canada expands their complimentary Wi-Fi offering from North American routes to all of their routes. For now, they do offer complimentary in-flight texting using Wi-Fi-based messaging apps, and general Wi-Fi access passes can be purchased at 2 different speeds for either an hour of access or access for the full flight. At the cheaper end, an hour of access on the lower speed pass costs 10 Canadian dollars and 75 cents, while the higher speed pass for access for the full flight costs 34 Canadian dollars and 50 cents. Also on the Wi-Fi service homepage, you can view some limited information about the flight, the weather, and promotional content. Getting up to explore the cabin, there are 8 lavatories available to economy class passengers, with a pair in front of premium economy, 2 between each section of economy, and 1 pair at the rear of the plane. As I wait for one of the midsection lavatories near the row 31 extra legroom row, you can pretty clearly see why row 18 is a superior preferred seating row, as in rows 31 and 50 you'll have passengers standing in your legroom space while waiting to use the restroom. Stepping inside one of the midsection lavatories, it's decently spacious and relatively well kept. Back at my seat and getting it reclined to sleep, these seats have a fairly limited recline with only a couple inches of kickback. With the provided blanket, I got comfortable and settled in for 3-ish hours of shut-eye. With an hour and a half to go before landing in Frankfurt, I woke up with breakfast in front of me. This light meal before landing consists of a pot of yogurt, a slice of cranberry lemon loaf, and another full beverage service.
Regardez votre fauteuil, rangez vos bagages, adressez le dossier ainsi que la tablette, package. Also please put your chair back in the upright position to your chair table.
Touching down in Frankfurt, we're taxiing over to the international gates of Terminal 1. T1 is used by all Star Alliance airlines serving Frankfurt, including Air Canada, making transfers between different partner airlines super convenient. Thanks for joining me for this trip report, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Now for some comments on the experience overall. Air Canada's economy class product on their high-density Boeing 777 is a similar experience to what you'll find on the rest of their long-haul fleet. While the legroom and space in row 18 are good, the rest of the economy class experience leaves something to be desired. The food is fairly subpar, and the recline in these seats is very limited, making it difficult to sleep and get comfortable. Given the choice, I tend to find that both the hard and soft product in economy class on European airlines like Lufthansa are better than what Air Canada is offering, and would opt for those if it's convenient and similarly priced. Obviously, these extra legroom seats improve the experience, and I would recommend balancing the cost of that comfort with the ticket prices on other airlines, where you might be getting better food and general seat comfort.